What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner, man. First off, if you like this content that is coming your way, hit that subscribe button. Means a ton, means a lot. But today, folks, I got my brother from another with me. We're going to be doing the show today, a season review, Texas Longhorn football. We're only talking about Texas Longhorns today, folks. No Oklahoma stuff. Maybe it might bleed in a little bit because Chris is on the channel today. We might hear some OU stuff, some OU suck stuff, but we'll see, man. But first off, folks, let's get into our sponsors. Our first sponsor for today, folks, is going to be by betus.com. Go to betus.com, folks. Get you 125% sign up bonus using the code Nino's Corner. That's free money, folks. Go to betus.com. Get yourself 125% sign up bonus using the promo code Nino's Corner. All right. Second sponsor, folks, is going to be by Manscaped, folks. Go to manscaped.com. Get you 20% off and free worldwide shipping using the promo code Nino's Corner. Again, folks, manscaped.com, 20% off and free worldwide shipping using the promo code Nino's Corner. But folks, we are here to talk about the 2022 Texas Longhorn football season review. I got Chris with a K in. Chris, what's going on, brother?
Man, nothing, bro. Just chilling, man. Excited to talk about some Texas football tonight, man. Definitely have some thoughts to share, and so let's get to
it. Chris laughed because we got a two-part series here, folks. Today is going to be Texas. Next week it's going to be on Chris's channel on the Hornsdown podcast. We're going to talk about OU, and I'll be the special guest on that channel. So I'm gonna have a lot to say next week. But But Chris, what did you think about the Texas 2022 season, man?
Okay, so man, had his highs and had his lows. Look, Tarek said had a tweet the other day about do you feel like this Texas team is headed, or this Texas program is headed in a better direction? Sark has you guys up, okay? I'm not going to say that it's too much different than what I've seen in the past. I mean, we've seen what Herman had his highs and had his lows as well, but this is a different regime, so let's just stick to that. I saw improvement defensively, especially. I thought this was probably one of the more consistent years with Overshawn. As much as it pains me to say, being there at the Red River game this year, Overshawn showed out. He showed up and he showed out. I mean, he's just all over the field. He's a guy that you don't have to look at the stat sheet to actually see him have an effect on the game. You have to account for him just like you would have to account for a Bijan, right? It's just one of those things where the games that I thought you guys would win, you didn't. I thought TCU was, coming to your place. I thought that was going to be a game that you guys would win. Obviously, the highest of the highs was honestly probably losing to Bama because of just the way that you guys played coming out the gate. And I know that you and Steven, shout out to our guy Steven, I know that you guys were on the record of saying that, hey, if Quinn plays the rest of the game, we win that game probably by 10 or more, right? So
yeah, I got to look back at that now.
Yeah. One of the things I will say is that Quinn Ewers, not calling him Mullet Boy right now, so out of respect, Quinn Ewers, there were times where he flashed, but there were times where you were like, okay, it's obvious that he's been out of football for quite a while.
You're a freshman too.
Yeah. But one of the things that I would say, and I'm not quick to say that he's a generational talent, but I'm going to say that he's definitely above average quarterback. When I say above average, I'm not saying average. I'm saying that he's in that B class right now. He's like tier 2, maybe tier 3, maybe low tier 2 right now. Not to say next year he can't be tier 1, right? And I think that, I think Sark got better as far as situational football this year. Not going to say all the way because there were still some lapses in the second halves. But I mean, all in all, I mean, it's a better season than you had in the first year of the Sark regime. And I think that there's just some things that you guys didn't account for. The injury to Nayor.
Yeah, exactly.
What a Jai Hall not really panning out.
Yeah.
Billingsby not really panning out.
Yeah, his suspension hurt.
Yeah, to have that explosive, you guys are living in 12 and all those heavy personnel packages. So basically that kind of eliminated that because you're back to Jatavian Sanders, a non-factor, but you're back to the Jatavian Sanders.
Is this man just called Jatavian Sanders a non-factor again?
You're back to him just basically being solo dolo out there. So you're not able to actually open up the offense even more than what you thought, right? So, like I said, it was just a season of highs and lows. It was more highs. One of the things I want to commend Texas on, okay, and this is me from the bottom of my heart. I want to commend Texas.
What is going on now?
Coming into this season, the budding joke was, well, they're going to lose to Kansas. What y'all did to Kansas was personal because there was a point in that game where my aunt called me and we said it at the same time. I said, hey, I don't think they ran the ball. I mean, I don't think they passed the ball these last like 3 drives.
Yeah, it was just personal.
Line them up. We're going to run down your throat and we're going to play aggressive on defense. And that's exactly what you guys did. Now, granted, Daniels was coming back off of that injury, but he hyped himself up like it was about to be,
Hey, you on the field. You on the field? I don't want to hear it.
But the way that you guys did Kansas, that was personal. And I have to say, I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool to see. I was not expecting y'all to run as much. I thought y'all were going to come out there and be finesse, try to pass, give them some life. I thought it would be a game that would come down to the fourth quarter. But B. John said, I'm going to shut all that stuff up, and I'm going to show y'all what we really think of Kansas.
Yeah, you know what also, Chris, man, I think that I think Sark's second year, this is the time for him. He's starting to, I wouldn't say take the training wheels off, but when things don't go perfect, you got to rely on what's working for your team. And you saw he started to do that towards the end of the season. I think if he'd have did it at the beginning of the season, I think Texas beats, Okie State. We tried to force it to be Quinn's game. That was not Quinn's game. You got 2 studs back there that are going to the league, hand the ball off. Like you said, Kansas was a hell of a game. Kansas State was another good game too, where we pulled it out as well. The TCU game is a head scratcher for Texas to be, for Sark to be an offensive mind and for us to only put up 3 points on offense while holding TCU to 17 points. Our defense scored more points than our offense that game, which was pathetic. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Coach. I was just gonna say right here. Let's just be real and let's just jump on it and say what it is. If Texas wants to get where they want to be, Sark can't be the one that propels you guys there. It has to be Quinn Ewers. And what I mean by that is that Quinn Ewers can't rely on Sark basically to get him in whatever package he needs to. Quinn Ewers has to just get it. He has to become that guy and be able to make some of those throws and everything. I know you were going to talk about Worthy's drops and different things like that, but I'm just saying that we talk about those transcendent generational type of quarterbacks, as you like to say, with
like Caleb,
all of that.
Yeah, like Caleb.
But what I'm saying is that he's going to have to take that step, and next year you're wanting to see the 5 touchdown, 400-yard performances from Quinn Ewers, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. I can see that. Yeah, I can see it. Sark did scheme him open. He schemed. I mean, they were wide open plays.
I mean, Quinn, that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. Quinn missed them. He missed a lot of plays this year, but he is young, and I don't like to use that excuse because he's been in college for a year at, Ohio State. He didn't play. He had COVID when he first got there. He didn't get into it and pace until a week before the season started. It's just a missed situation. But he comes to Texas. You're the guy. You've been there since the spring. You know the offense. It's your team. You gotta command that team. And so,
don't forget the perfect rating on Rivals at 247 Sports and the hype. He's the greatest quarterback that came out there. He looked like another South Lake quarterback to me. But hey, that's just my opinion.
Well, look here. I'm not gonna say all that. It just takes time. Go look at Vince Young's first year. It takes time. He was a 1.000 quarterback too, right? So we were just talking about this, earlier today. Is there were fans calling to have Vince Young be a wide receiver his freshman year because they didn't think he got it, right? And he ended up being the best quarterback to ever step foot here on this campus and one of the best ever to do it in college football, right? So it takes time. It takes time for these guys to mature. Everybody doesn't mature at the same rate as a Bijan Robinson, right? Bijan's just a special guy who matured and he's in a whole different position. Every kid doesn't step into an offense in a ready-made team like a Trevor Lawrence did. Trevor Lawrence he pretty much stepped into a ready-made team that was ready to go. He goes and does this thing and then win a damn championship his first year, right? So
is he a generational quarterback?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, yes. He is. He is. But like I just said, he stepped into a team that was in the national championship the year before, right? And won it 2 years before that, right? So it's not like he came to Texas, where we had to start 2 true freshmen on the offensive line. We lost Junior Angilau as well. Losing Nayer, not having the tight end support they would need. So we got to make an offensive lineman be our second tight end for 30 or 40% of the game. And everybody knows when he's in the game, he's not going out for a pass. So you just take a passer off the field, basically, right? And so it was all the X show with JT Sanders, and Texas just needed more playmakers at wide receiver, I thought, this season.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I'm just gonna say this: Casey Kane is a serviceable wide receiver.
Yeah, he's good.
Wheaton is a serviceable wide receiver when healthy. Drake, excuse me, I almost said Drake Stoops. I mean, that guy's going places, but
anyway, Drake Stoops.
He's gonna get drafted one.
Stoops?
No. He's coming back to school.
Stoops?
Yeah, Drake Stoops. Yeah, like we said, you already know. Put the numbers up there. Drake Stoops, Jordan Whittington. Okay. Anyways, like I was gonna say though, you guys had serviceable wide receivers out there, but those guys are really possession guys. Casey Kane is a guy that can stretch the field here and there, especially whenever you have a guy when Worthy is hot, because he makes them look good. Because hey, look, I was there at the Red River game and I saw exactly what Sark was doing. We had Worthy covered up, but then you had those two basically running twin routes. They're running twin orbit routes basically, and they're giving Worthy the option to do whatever he wants to do on top of his route. But you have what's his name, Whittington, just running right underneath. And I mean, he was just able to just they just schemed him open.
Well, but Whittington's also a good player. I mean, I don't think you give Whittington the credit he deserves.
I'm not going to say that he's a game changer. I'm going to say he's a good player when healthy, but I'm not.
He was healthy all year this year. He had a quiet. He had almost 700 yards here, which was a quiet almost 700 yards, which is more than Stoops had his whole career. But we're not going to talk about that. Okay. Not honestly. But no. Whittington is a guy who I thought should have been used a lot more. He had literally a quiet almost 700 yards this year. It was 600 after the 12th game of the season. I think he got close to the 700, just from the bowl game. Don't know yet. He hasn't said. But like I said, he had a very quiet, almost 700-yard season this year, and that's with him not being used properly, in my opinion. He should have been used a lot more. Huh?
How is he not used properly?
He should have got targeted a lot more. He should have shorter routes, not going deep all the time to Worthy. Let Whittington do business. Just let him get the ball in his hands, and that guy's like a running back on the field. He's a lot like a Devin Duvernay type. Not as fast, but once the ball's in his hands, he is a running back. He makes things happen.
My only worry about Whittington is just staying healthy. I mean, this was a good year for him, but I mean, staying healthy is a big thing. Yeah, shout out to my boy. What up, Jay? What up, Jay? But yeah, what I was going to say, let's move back to your running back room. So here is the thing that I'm concerned about with Texas moving forward. Okay.
Don't say running backs.
I am worried about with running backs because let's be real. You want to talk about generational quarterbacks with OU losing Caleb Williams. Let's talk about y'all losing a generational
running back.
I mean, let's be real. You guys can Brooks, Baxter, Blue, Pink, Yellow, whoever the hell you want to put back there in your backfield. Let's just be real. That's not Bijan lining up. And this is what y'all are going to have to actually live with now. Maybe y'all have a running back who can make some long yardage plays, who has speed. I mean, Keelan Robinson, I think that he's going to be a weapon in the backfield.
But not at every down.
He's more of a slot. I think y'all should move him to slot.
But his hands weren't that good his first year. This year, his hands got a lot better.
Yeah.
So him coming out the backfield catching balls was a lot better this year. But
you don't want it to be one of those situations like Lincoln his last year there, where Gray is coming in to be Gray's gonna,
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
catch the ball. But here's what I'm saying is you guys are gonna have to learn how to live without is that running back who is the epitome of you get hit one time, but you make something happen. He's getting hit by their D tackle, the defensive end. Here goes somebody else coming up in run support, and he's bouncing off of them and taking it for another 20, 30 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all are not going to have that back anymore, and now y'all are going to be in more long yardage situations. Roshan as well. You don't have that 1-2 punch of the guy who can make the amazing play, and then on the short yardage, you got a guy who's ready, who's willing and ready just to put his nose on somebody else's nose and say, "Hey."
Well, look, I'm gonna bounce back on you in this one. This is a hot take by me. And I was talking to Homer about this. I was talking to Nash about this as well, in our group chat. And I think Nash made this point that as great as Bijan was, don't be shocked at what Brooks is going to do next year, because the offensive line next year is going to be light years better than anything Bijan had here on campus. You're going to have a guy like Kelvin Banks. It's going to be seasoned for another year. You're going to have a guy, and Cole Hudson and DJ Campbell. DJ Campbell, I think, is going to really come in and prosper next year. He was the top guard in the country last year coming out of high school. Jake Majors is Mr. Steady there. At right tackle, you have Big Ken Williams or whoever else fights out for that job. And then you got Hayden Connor also. So the problem with Texas in the past has been we have relied on too many true freshmen to come and save the program, right? Because Tom Herman didn't recruit the offensive line at all.
Yeah.
Charlie Strong didn't recruit the offensive line at all. Sarkisian has made it a point to improve the offensive line. In these two classes, he's taken 12 offensive linemen. In the 5-year period before he got there, Texas took 18 offensive linemen. That to tell you something right there. He knows he has to build up the trenches, and he's been able to sit 5 of those 7 offensive linemen this year. So these guys are in the weight room. They're letting the game slow down. They're getting stronger. They're getting bigger, and I think that's going to help out because I think this offensive line this year is going to be light years better than what Bijan has had to run behind his whole 3 years here at Texas.
And that's a good point. But at the same time, let's just be real. Brooks is not Bijan. Y'all can put Brooks and
he's not Bijan.
They're not Bijan.
I think a lot of people, when they look at Jonathan Brooks, and people hear me out here, and I'm not saying anything bad about Bijan or Roshan, but what I'm telling you is Jonathan Brooks' vision might have been the best in that running back room last year.
Yeah, but I saw him against Washington, and it left.
No. He only got 6 carries against Washington, and guess what, Chris. He scored on 25% of his touches. Every 4th carry he got or touch, he had a touchdown. He scored our only 2 touchdowns in the game.
Yeah.
So he only had 6 touches.
I saw the screen.
But that's his vision. The guy, here he is, 25% of his touches. Nash, there you go. Jonathan Brooks is a grown-ass man. I think people are going to see when he came out of high school, he came from this small school that they didn't want to give him the respect. And the dude balled out. I mean, he set every Texas high school record. He was under the radar. Stan Drayton finds him early. He ends up coming to Texas. Then everybody hopped on it. Everybody wanted him after that. But he had to sit behind Bijan and Roshan. And I'm telling you, he had 6 carries, and he scored on 25% of his touches in the Alamo Bowl. And so, you can see he saw his carries, but all I know is he scored 2 touchdowns on what, 8 touches?
I saw the screen and I saw the goal line run where he just ran behind the big hog mollies up front. I saw it. Okay, I get that, but you can't sit here and tell me that you're really going to sit here and tell me that, oh yeah, no, we're going to be fine. We're just going to be plug and pull next year.
I didn't say plug and play. I didn't say plug and play. What I said is that Jonathan Brooks is going to run behind an offensive line that is light years better than anything Bijan Robinson has run behind here at Texas. And I think his numbers are going to be very comparable to what Bijan had this year because the offensive line is going to be better. That's just my opinion. You're going to have a Kelvin Banks who's going to be here. This is his 2nd year, who's going to be better. He was the best tackle in the conference. I think everybody understands that, right? We understand Kelvin Banks Jr. is the best tackle in the conference. one of the top 2 or 3 in the nation. He was the best tackle in this conference. Who was better?
Oh, Antoine Harrison, baby. What you talking
Child, please.
about? What you talking
Child,
about, baby? What you
child,
mean?
please.
What
DJ
you
Campbell's going to be there. Hayden Conner's going to
mean?
be there for
First
another
round,
year.
baby. Antoine Harrison.
No,
Offensive
okay. You can say
play.
that you want.
Hey.
You can say that. You can say all you want.
But listen,
Kelvin Banks Jr. is going to be a top 5 pick if he stays healthy.
yeah. And I can't wait for him to go to the league and get exposed because of all the help that he's getting. But anyways,
Help? What's he getting help from?
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna talk about the running back.
You a hater.
Don't y'all have another running back like Ford or something like that?
No, we got Jaden Blue.
What they're talking about, he hit the portal.
No, he didn't hit the portal. He's locked in. He just reconfirmed he's locked in. Okay. And then we got Cedric Baxter. Cedric Baxter, number 1 running back in the country, 6'2", 220-pound running back, who's also going to do some dirty things here at Texas too.
Do you think he'll see the field next year?
Yes, he will see the field next year. That guy's going to see the field next year.
And that's what I'm saying is that, look, the dynamic, because we could talk about Bijan all day, but Roshan, what he was able to do for you guys, he was so versatile. And that's what I'm trying to say is that I'm not necessarily knocking I'm knocking the depth a tad bit just because those are young guys and we, kind of a bit unproven, but I'm just saying like, hey, look, that dynamic that Roshan and Bijan had, because even if you want to say Brooks is going to play behind a better offensive line, Roshan and Bijan were able to make a bad offensive line. Let's just say, call it what it is. That's how you're going to go.
They were serviceable. I wouldn't say they're bad. They were serviceable this year. They were bad in the past.
Bijan made them look better than what they were, because there's a lot of times guys are in the backfield hitting him and Bijan is still taking it for 40, 60 yards down the field for a touchdown.
I understand that. That's it. There was a serviceable.
And I mean, look, I think that in a lot of ways, as much as y'all don't want to admit it, in a lot of ways, we had similar problems with certain teams. Let's just put it for what it's worth. Texas Tech telegraphed everything they were doing to both of our teams, and we still couldn't figure it out. And you could say it was coaching, because I watched the last few minutes when y'all lost to them, and y'all shouldn't have lost to them.
We shouldn't have lost to them.
Same
at
with
all.
us. But when I watched that game right there, I was like, that's not necessarily on Sark, but it goes hand in hand. People are going to blame him ultimately for the lapse, but
that was a shock and awe game when a team goes forward 8 or 9 times on 4th down.
Yeah.
That kind of deflates your defense when you stop somebody on 3rd down and it's 4th and 4 and you're like, we got him, let's get out the field. No, big boy, come back on.
But that's what I'm saying. It's at some point, like, look, I get it. It is on the coaches because the coaches got to point it out, or something. You got to call a timeout and figure it out. But it's got to be player recognition whenever they're telegraphing you and they're running the same play to each side. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing different. You know what's coming. It's got to be something, Defensively, like I said, you guys were nasty. It just seemed like you guys wanted it more. Your secondary was probably the most aggressive I've seen them be in quite some time.
They were good. Linebackers were great.
I feel like, to be honest with you, PK got out of the way and just said, Gary, save us.
No. Okay. This is my thing. When people want to give Gary Patterson the credit for how good the defense was, where's that same energy when the defense didn't play well against teams like Texas Tech and other? Was it Gary Patterson's fault then too? No, people need to understand that PK is a damn good defensive mind. He's all about development. His thing is developing players. And he's got a season in with these guys, and he has developed these players. Give Jeff Choate some credit on how he developed Jalen Ford to be what he is. All right?
I don't want to hear that, Nick.
Why not?
Gary Patterson is on your sideline. We know what he does. We know his resume, and it's way better than PK. PK is looking over his shoulder because he knows the defensive coordinator has been on the sideline, he's been in the box, and he's all over the game plan. If you don't think PK is leaning in on Gary Patterson,
You don't think
All
Sark's
his,
leaning on Gary
all
Patterson
his
too?
tutelage. Come on,
You
man.
don't think Sark's leaning in on
Stop
Gary
playing.
Patterson?
Stop playing.
No, look, I'm not playing.
Come on.
I'm gonna give PK his flowers, get that man some credit, because when the team did bad this year on defense, was anybody screaming for Gary Patterson's head? No. Give PK his credit. This defense was much more prepared this year. These players are much more developed this year. Uh, and I'm going to give Gary Patterson some credit on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. He's a special assistant to the head coach, not the defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to give Jeff Choate a lot of credit for the maturation process of Jalen Ford, Overshawn. I saw great things out of those guys. Even Torian Ducker, he played. Oh yeah, Tucker. I always TD, whatever. Yeah, he has a hard name to pronounce sometimes. But the secondary was good as well. Give Terry Joseph, give Blake Gideon, get themselves some props too, man. They went out and got players like a Ryan Watts to come in and play the boundary, who was awesome this year. And you got guys like Jameson, who is the first time in his career where he's had a damn coordinator or a position coach for 2 years in a row. He's never had that. And so now we're seeing a little continuity with the team. Jaron Thompson's always been a good player. But Cook's been a good player. It's just these guys had to get coached.
You can't sit there and say that the GP effect.
I didn't say it didn't. I didn't say it didn't help.
And say Gary Patterson didn't have a lot to do with the success of that defense this year.
Hold on, Paxton. Thanks, man. Tucker Dorsey. I don't know why I couldn't get that out of my mouth today. But
because and the reason why I say that is because look, let's just say this right here. If y'all, I'm not gonna put y'all on the wagon. We're gonna put y'all. Let's say that y'all that let's say little Nick is out there with that 10-speed bike, huh? You know you wouldn't ride the mongoose; it's too fast for you, boomer. But anyways, let's say that you had a little 10-speed bike, and let's say your chain was just a little bit messed up, but you kept riding it because you wanted to ride with your friends and everything. Steven over there, all the rest of y'all Texas boys, Texas homers there, and your chain is just a little bit. It's just not there. Gary Patterson says, "Hey son, come here real quick. Let me help you with that. Let me go ahead and just tighten that up just a little bit. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Oh yeah, you got a problem here. You got a problem over here too." And he makes your bike go really fast. You got to give him his credit, man.
Gary, we are giving him his credit, but also you got to give PK his credit. PK just didn't come to Texas and forget how to coach defense.
Look, I'm gonna tell you like this right now.
Doesn't happen. He didn't come to Texas and forget how to coach defense.
If y'all go 5-7, 8-4 next year or in between, I can promise you now, if Gary Patterson is still there and he hasn't taken a head coaching job, Gary Patterson will be your defensive coordinator by the end, maybe by the end of the season.
If he wants it. That's Gary Patterson. What if he wants another head coaching job? He's Gary Patterson, right? So now, I'm gonna give GP some shouts out and say, yes, good job for helping the offense and the defensive side of the ball. However, I'm gonna give PK his flowers because this guy was a hell of a defensive coordinator in the Pac-12, and
Lake was too.
But. And he's what's Lake doing now? All right, so look, I'm gonna give PK his flowers. He is a developer of talent. He got these guys in this year or last year. He got to have them for a year, built their bodies up the way that he wants them, and now you're seeing guys like Coburn, who's going to be probably a second-day pick. Sweat, if he would have left, would have been a draft pick this year. Overshawn's going to be a draft pick. Jalen Ford's going to be a draft pick.
I'm definitely looking for the Texas draft picks, but I tell you this right now, I don't care. Nick V, shout out to you. Hey, like, subscribe. Hey, first off, if you're in here right now, you got to like and subscribe to this video. Into the content, into the channel. Come on, man. It's NinosCorner. Y'all already know what it is. Anyways, like I was saying, though, look, ain't no way that Nick V gonna sit up here and tell me that Coburn is boy.
Coburn's getting drafted.
No, not Mr. Pterodactyl Orms himself.
He's getting drafted.
Yeah. If somebody want to sit down with me, tell all the NFL scouts to sit down with me. I'll show y'all the film and I'll say, you see that right there?
Coburn's getting drafted. All right.
He's a big man with pterodactyl arms.
He's going to show you. He's going to show you films. Yeah. He's going to show you film from non-development over the 2 years prior, and it's going to show you some film where he's been developed properly and show how much of a monster he was this year.
Okay, well, gentlemen's bet. How about that? Let's make it
What, that
interesting.
he's getting drafted? He's getting
Yeah,
drafted.
yeah, yeah. Because I see him going undrafted. I'm just
Oh,
gonna be
child,
honest with you.
please.
Boy,
Okay.
you're not doing it
What
for
bet
me.
you want to do? What bet you want to do?
Well, let's just talk about it. We'll talk about it off,
Well,
huh?
okay, we'll talk about it off, and I'll tweet it out what the bet is. All right. All right. Coburn's getting drafted. You about to eat these
Coburn
words
is
here.
not getting drafted. I'm sorry.
Coburn's getting drafted.
There's no way.
Coburn's
If
getting
Coburn gets
drafted.
drafted, and then there must be a cold day in hell going on.
Overshown's
People
getting
in hell want
drafted.
water a lot, and y'all want him to get drafted. So I guess y'all all in the same boat.
Oh, hey, look, I've seen the mock drafts.
But like I said, hey, prayer is a powerful thing. You know, I always say that. That's my thing.
Why you hating on the kid, man? Let that
I'm
man
not
make his
hating
money.
on him. I
Why,
hope he don't
let
get
that man.
paid. But
Worry about Ron Bros. I'm sorry, man. We ain't talking about OU right now. you worry about your son Bros, man.
I'll just say, shoot. I tell you this right here. I bet you Bros will probably get more looks than Coburn will.
It's hard to find big guys that have that kind of speed, size, and speed. It's two things you can't teach, and that's size and speed. Coburn's getting drafted, man.
Keep moving on, Nick. Because Nick,
Coburn's getting drafted.
Pterodactyl Arms is not Mr. Pterodactyl Arms himself is not getting.
All right, guys, you guys heard that. Chris just said Keandre Coburn's not getting drafted. I'm going to tweet out what we're going to bet. We're going to text over the next couple of days on what the bet's going to be. But Coburn's getting drafted. I know it. Texas fans know it because we pay attention to this. And when I win this bet, we got to come up with something good.
What is there an expansion draft or what is it? Because I mean, it's 7 rounds and there's a lot of quality players out there.
Okay. All right. What we say? So if our success is due to Patterson and we're doing bad next year, wouldn't it be on Patterson? Oh yeah, that's a good question, Nash. What do you think about that, Steven? Not Steven. God, Lee, Chris. Why I keep calling you Steven?
Hey, first and foremost, Steven is on our minds. Hopefully, whatever's going on with Steven has been solved. That's our boy. So,
hey, Steven's my dude.
You know, shout out to Fanatic Perspective. Y'all keep the channel going, obviously, as y'all already are. But yeah, But no, look, Patterson. No, I mean, I don't know. I just look. I've seen Gary Patterson schemes of days at least, but. I mean, I don't think so. I think he's pretty much the missing piece to the puzzle over there on the defensive side of the ball. I think that he's gotten you guys this far. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Offensively, it was a abysmal night against TCU. Defensively, I mean, you guys gave them some fits, and it just was one of those things. And then even with Washington, which I thought you guys would probably go out there and I thought y'all would play a better game than what y'all did. But I mean, that first half just kind of got a little bit away. And I mean, they just kept forcing the ball down the field on y'all, going vertical and all the rest of that.
But it wasn't. I mean, the first half. What was the final score in the first half?
10-3? No, was it 10-3 or was it?
I think it was 10-3. So
it was like 20-3, or was
that? No. It was like 10-3 in the first half. Texas's offense shot themselves in the foot. Quinn threw a ball to Xavier, a back shoulder that he didn't turn to. We just couldn't get it rolling on offense in the first half. Second half, offense got rolling. Quinn should have finished the game at about 450 yards, minus a couple drops. But
that's a great segue.
Let's talk about the Washington game.
Let's talk about this whole Worthy thing. What's up? What's up with Worthy, man?
I don't know. He has the third most drops in college football since he's been in the sport, right? So, over the past 2 years, the third most drops from any receiver in college football. So I don't know if it's a mental thing because his route running is exceptional, right? He runs great routes. One thing that you kind of notice with Xavier Worthy is he doesn't catch the ball with his hands a lot. Watch his highlights. Xavier Worthy catches the ball a lot, on the chest or basket catches. And I think that's one of the main things is not seeing the ball into his hands and just getting a good grasp of the ball and instead of basket catching the ball. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with him right now. But as far as the talent wise, running routes, speed, I mean, he's exceptional. You know, it's just a matter of can he get to the mental side and catch the balls. Basically, is what we need him to do. You know, I think over the last 2 years he's had something like 15 or 16 drops, right? So, you
I
know,
can
that's a lot for for 2 years. So,
Nick
um,
Nick
huh?
V, I agree with that what you just said. But look, I'm gonna jump in here real quick on this Worthy thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so first off, one play that sticks out in my mind, y'all shouldn't have won that game
Which one?
for multiple reasons. That Iowa State game, that was
Why shouldn't we want it? We want it.
targeting at the end.
Targeting.
That was targeting. Y'all hit Hunter Decker. Hunter Decker. Don't make me bring Hunter Decker on here. I'll bring him on the show and he'll tell you straight up that was
That was
targeting.
not no
He
targeting.
said that month hit me, man.
Was it called?
Anyways, what I'll say is that the play that sticks, that one of the plays that stuck out to me was pretty much to me. I think the play that won y'all.
Yeah,
The
they
game,
won it.
that worthy
That
worthy
that
touchdown
route was
was sick.
no. He runs great routes.
That route was sick.
But one thing I will say about Worthy too, and
Mhm.
this is more on the team. We need more playmakers like him on the field. We need as many playmakers as possible on the
Yeah,
field, and I just don't think we had guys with that kind of route running ability, with that kind
which
of speed on the field all the time. I can see
but
a huh?
you ran out of it. I mean, the thing is, look,
Yeah, Nayer
if you
getting hurt. I mean, yeah, we ran out of a lot of playmakers, but
if go ahead.
but having a guy like Jonte Cook come in this year, who's an exceptional route runner as well, catches the ball very cleanly. You know, state champion as well, so bringing in some of that championship pedigree. You know, having a guy like that come in, having a guy like Brendan Thompson here also, who's a speed guy as well, getting them back into the program and getting them just letting the game slow down for them. They didn't run them a lot this year. But having guys like that who are no kidding playmakers, or Ryan Niblett as well, Savion Red, who's already here, who I think is going to be one of the guys. If Jordan Whittington leaves, he's probably going to take that spot and just run with it. He's a hell of a player.
What's Savion Red from?
Garland, no, Grand Prairie, yeah.
No, so
And
that
having
was
DeAndre Moore. I mean,
so that was the thing. That's the thing. Here we go again with all the freshman talk. But here's the thing that I had to say. Okay, I said it to open the show up. You guys had a bad luck of it. Basically, just had a bad draw.
yeah,
Okay, because I mean, the thing about it is I always say, if you're gonna talk noise about somebody, it's not that y'all live rent free, but if you're gonna talk noise about somebody, you need to educate yourself on the team. Not only did y'all have Nayor, Ajay Hall, Billingsby, but you also got to kind of look down at some other guys as well. What's that one wide receiver that you guys always talk about with that had the major knee injury? The
oh,
Amari kid.
Troy Murray.
Oh
Troy
yeah, Troy
Murray.
Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the portal
Never
now.
panned out. I know
Yeah.
he's a portal, but I'm just saying he didn't pan out.
Yeah, he got
You
injured
guys
and never
had
came
this
back.
amazing, yeah, you had this amazing talent out there, but you're running out there with Worthy, Whittington, and Casey Kane. And you guys, and that's why I say OU and Texas had a lot of similar problems this year, simply because you're looking at the personnel that's out there with your quarterback, and you're saying, "Hi, damn, we got all this talent on the sideline, but we're running out here with pretty much the same three guys every time." And you may see the stat sheet where there's a guy who has 2 or 3 catches or this and that. You didn't see that, but then you go to the next game and you don't even see him play. You get what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where y'all had a bad draw this year with injuries. Your Alabama guys not panning out like some of your coaches.
Our coaches have panned out this year. I don't want to hear that. We don't want to talk about coaches. We don't want to talk about coaches.
We'll get to that. But
we don't want to talk about coaches because I know my coach's first year, he's an offensive guy. His offense is on fire.
Yeah, 5-7 and 13.
No, his offense is on fire. It's a defense.
12 over the past 2 years.
I'm just saying.
We'll get to start.
Look, I'm just saying.
I'm trying to give you a compliment, man. I'm just trying to tell you, like,
a little backhanded compliment.
Go ahead. Man, y'all just had a bad job. Nobody expected just things to pan out like that. But I bring up the Amiri kid because I mean he's somebody that if I watch your channel, if I watch Steven's channel, if I watch Orange Bloods, if I watch Karen, whoever, that's a kid that y'all have always said, hey, the consensus is that the kid has a lot of talent. It's just that his knee injury was more significant than what we thought it was.
Oh, you're talking about Troy Murray?
Yeah. And it felt like he just couldn't get back because a lot of you guys had done him to be pretty much the
He was going to
next
be the
guy.
guy. And I think
He was
everybody knew
the guy.
he was that guy,
Yeah.
And so
So when you have talent, and that's something that we'll talk about on Friday. I mean, on next week on Wednesday on the Horns Down podcast. By the way, we plug that in there. But that's one of the things right there is that when you have to come to the realization as a Texas fan, even as an OU fan, and just understand some of these kids just didn't really translate to what's going on now. And that's one of the problems is that you felt like this kid had all the potential in the world, just didn't pan out the way you thought he would.
yeah, and I think also too with the coaching changes, you having multiple coaching changes and kids from different coaching regimes, and maybe not the best fit because I think we all see the kind of wide receivers that Sark wants.
Yeah.
He wants a fast wide receiver. He wants a guy that runs great routes. He doesn't really like big body receivers, and we were kind of stacked with a bunch of big body receivers. Nayer's a big Nayer is somebody that he actually brought in, but Troy Murray is a big body receiver. Casey Kane's more of like a big body as well. In the past we've had guys like Colin Johnson. We've had Herman like big guys. He moved Malcolm Epps from tight end to wide receiver because he wanted a big body 6'5", just a wide receiver. Herman, you're seeing Sark, you're seeing what he's doing, going and getting Worthy, smaller guy, but a fast guy, 6 foot, 165, 170 pounds, runs great routes, can get behind the defense. You're seeing what he's recruiting as well. Brendan Thompson last year, 5'10", 5'11", 10, 200-meter dash, can get behind, right? You're seeing a guy like this year, Jonte Cook, 6'1", 170 pounds, fast guy, can get behind, as well. Nibbled as well as a guy that runs a 10-4, 600-meter dash, and then getting a guy like Moore, so Moore is also, he's a little bit stockier than these guys. He's around 5'11", 6 foot, but he's like 185, 190 pounds. So he's a more stockier guy, but you're seeing Sark likes a certain kind of guy. He likes a guy with some speed. He doesn't want him big and bulky. He wants guys that are going to be electric at every wide receiver position, and that's something that he didn't have here at Texas this year. And I think he's trying to get that going in here for the next couple of years.
But I think that he could still be versatile. That's one of the things. Like, there's things that this year that, like I said, I feel like we could have did differently. I know it's not an OU thing, but I'm gonna point out this is that I like that about Levy is that he wants to have a more diverse group out there as far as like, hey, this is what we're wanting in all these different packages that I'm bringing, right? So the thing is that, even with that, he still had some big wide receivers over there in Bama coming from there. But I mean, let's just say, hell, he had like 4 or 5 first rounders.
Yeah, but even those guys weren't big guys.
Those guys weren't like massively big, but they're not. They weren't
Waddle,
small guys. They were
Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Ruggs, and Judy. Those guys are not big guys.
I'm not saying that they're big guys, but they're bigger than what you're
no,
talking.
They're not. Waddle's not even
not
6
Devontae
foot.
Smith, but I'm just saying that Judy is not some thin real guy.
No, but Judy's what, 6'1"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of body frame he likes. Like a guy like Moore, who's coming from Cali, he's 5'11" or so, but he's a big frame guy. He's already 185, 190 pound kid, right? So he's not the smaller type like a Niblet or like a Worthy. He's a bigger kid. He's small, he's fast, but he's a bigger kid. He's a strong kid. So I see this wide receiver core that he's built is mimicking what he had at Alabama. I'm looking at a guy like Xavier Worthy, who could be one of those lanky guys, right? Jonte Cook is another one of those guys. He's a little bit bigger than Worthy is. I think Jonte is probably like 175 pounds or so, right? But he just has a bigger frame, right? And then Moore is a shorter guy, almost like a Waddle. He's not as fast as Waddle, but he's stocky like that. Waddle reminds me of like a Steve Smith kind of player where he's smaller in stature, but he's a stockier guy that's going to go get some yards across the middle and ain't afraid of nothing, right? And then you have a guy like Ryan Niblet, who kind of fits that mold of a Jerry Jeudy just a little bit. So you're looking at, I see exactly the kind of players that he wants at Texas. He wants speed at wide receiver. He don't want no slow guys. I don't need a 4'6", 4'7" guy. I need 4'4s across the board. I need guys that can get behind the defense. I need guys that run exceptional routes. And this offense will flourish if I have more guys that can take pressure off of Xavier Worthy. He can get one-on-ones. And if somebody goes over the top on Worthy, then Ajante Cook can get a one-on-one and he can cook, right?
I
And
mean,
take
but
it.
that's pretty much what the offense was this year with Worthy. I mean, I think Worthy was it was about 70% Worthy is going to go out there and do his thing, but it was 30% he's going to be a great decoy as well. Because, like I said, I mean, I watched a few Texas games. You guys definitely, it was just Sark scheming really well, and I mean, what he did
Sorry, he's
was,
screaming well. So just
yeah,
imagine him scheming with talent that he doesn't have to go real simplistic.
yeah.
Yeah, think about him scheming talent that can get deep like Worthy and not have to
Mhm.
only rely on Worthy to go deep,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's when he was the most effective when he had all those guys. But I
Yeah,
mean,
but that's what he's recruiting.
hey, let's go get it. Let's see it.
Yeah,
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I think maybe this is, we got what, 15 minutes left. We said we're just
yeah,
gonna go about an hour. So the whole thing is, let's just turn it on. Let's turn the heat on it, man. Let's turn the heat on.
yeah.
Sark, man. Look, at the end of the day, you guys are 8-4 this year, or
Hmm.
8-5 this year, excuse me. So 5-7 the first year. You see the improvement, you see some of the turnaround, you see some of those things or whatnot. But let's just be real. Okay. If you put both of those records together, he's 13-12 over 2 seasons. I know
I'm
that
going
you
year by
look,
year, year
listen.
by
I'm
year.
not bash. I'm just saying he's 13-12 over 2 seasons. You've seen some improvement. A lot of people are going to say you got the three quarterbacks that you want. I said three because I'm not counting out Malik.
I'm not either. We were talking about him earlier today. I'm not counting Malik at all.
So the whole thing is that and now, hey, I'm gonna say this right here. We're gonna see how good of a coach Sark is, because I believe it's gonna be a little bit of a circus next year with Arch Manning being there, and then there's a quiet crowd, but they're a little bit rowdy for Malik as far as y'all Texas fans. So I'm not saying that y'all are divided anyways, but
No,
Arch is gonna bring that talent, but at the same time, if Quinn is out there kind of playing like he is this year, and you don't see the improvement, you're
then it's
definitely gonna be
then
looking.
then it's time for Malik.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest,
Mhm.
they're not going to bring in Arch Manning to come in here and be the freshman to save this team.
Yeah.
That's
And he
that's
doesn't
what's
want to be that.
no, that's what Texas has gotten, in trouble with, is having freshmen at key positions had to come and save a program. Right?
Mhm.
You remember a quarterback, Shane Buechele, true freshman, having to come do his thing. And after that, Sam, right? Having Gerard Hurd come out as a freshman as well. Now he did really good his first game, but he just wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for that moment yet. He was young. You gotta let some of these guys mature into the process, right? And
Mhm.
so yeah, Arch isn't going to come here and play next year. Hopefully not. If something happens with Quinn and he doesn't play well or he gets injured, knock on wood, it's got to be the Malik show. He's been here. He's been in the offense now for 2 years. He's more than capable. He just has that frame and that stature. I want to see him succeed so bad. I
Mhm.
just do. But it's going to have to be at the expense of somebody else if he's going to succeed here in Texas, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the big elephant in the room.
Mhm.
It's going to be an instance like when Hudson Card came in this year, right? He came in because there was an injury.
I
Um,
already told you. I don't see him finishing there. But Teddy Lehman, a lot of and we love Gabe and Teddy. If you ever get a chance to check out their podcast, it's really good. But they talked about the kid, and Teddy said, "Hey, I think he's the best quarterback there on their roster right now." And he was like, "That kid will give everybody nightmares, and he's a kid that scares me because I think he's the best quarterback in their room." And I
yeah,
think he has the potential and the talent to bag that up as well.
yeah. He's
So
just he's also been a little bit injury plagued. His last game in high school, he got
Scooters,
injured, and then he had the scooter injury. We all know the scooter injury. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say the scooter thing, but yeah, but he got injured too. So he's had like the injury bug there too as well. So that kind of kept him off the field as well. But I think what Sark did this year is he let Quinn grow up,
mm-hmm.
let him make mistakes. I'm not gonna yank you, right? I'm gonna let you screw up. Get it out your system, right? You're 18. You should, just get it out your system. Learn. I want you to see this because you're gonna see it again. And I think um, once it got into the bowl game, I saw a different Quinn. Is something turned on in that like the end of that second quarter, going into that second half? You know, I saw a different Quinn. Now I was just like, man, Quinn's lighting it up. He's straight, balls placement is perfect. The first shot, the first deep shot that he's really gotten with Worthy, that was like right on the dime, and of course Worthy dropped the ball, but it was just like that was like he's in it, right? And I saw him be a little vocal too in that bowl game, in which I don't know if that was because Rojo is such an intimidating factor. He was the leader of that team. You know, Bijan is like the quiet assassin for he's the guy too, but Rojo kind of is like the stick in that room, right? But you saw players in that bowl game kind of step up. I saw JT Sanders kind of get a little animated on the sideline, like, hey, this is us, like let's get better. Quinn got animated. So you can talk about JT Sanders all you want. He's first team all Big 12 at tight end. So I mean, it's what it is. He's not a non-factor. I think you know that too.
Let's let me I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, so back to your coach though. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, okay, here's my point. All right. 13 and 12 over these past 2 years. Okay. If he has another, and this is a simple question that I have, he has another, like I said, if he has a 5-7 year, 8-4, 8-5 year, or anything in between, is he on the hot seat?
No, he's not in the hot seat. You don't know why?
So you think he's his full 5 years off?
Yeah, no, wow. You can't have him on the hot seat. You got to give people time to develop. I know, looking at how the transfer portal has influenced some teams, seeing how TCU has kind of transformed their team in a year with Sonny Dykes going to the national championship game in the first year, right? Seeing how, I know you don't like to say it, but Lincoln Riley going out to USC, going from 4-8 to, doing what he's done with that team.
Pac-12, we saw what they really are against Tulane. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, you said but Tulane almost beat y'all ass last year too.
That's fine. That's fine, but they didn't beat us when he had that OU gear on. So Lincoln, if you watch this video, I want you to hear that.
I don't want to make this a Lincoln Riley podcast, but
hey, and you know what, Lincoln? What's that? You know what, Lincoln? Here's one thing that Texas.
I don't want to hear about no Lincoln. We talking about Sark. I don't hear about no
Dallas, Texas. Oh, excuse me, not Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Oklahoma. That was the second home. Think about it. You lost there for the first time. Think about it. Think about it.
Get out of here. But we've seen first year coaches come in and do great things, right? And now it's Sark's second year. He had a lot of injuries this year. I think next year they should be primed and ready. I said 8-4 this year. Oh. I said 8-4 this year. You can roll the tapes back. I said 8-4. But I said 8-4. But I feel like we left so much meat in the bone. I think Texas could have been a 10-2 team this year. They could have easily been 10-2. They should have beat Oklahoma State. They should have. The TCU game's a head scratcher. The Bama game's a head scratcher. I'd give them those two games. But the Oklahoma State game, we should have definitely won that game. And you know what? I'm kind of forgetting the other loss. I can't forget Oklahoma State. We lost TCU. We lost to Alabama. I'm missing the other loss. Who's the other loss? Who's the other loss? Somebody in the comments. No, it wasn't West Virginia. Oh, Texas Tech. There we go. Yeah, so we just talked about Texas Tech, Chris. So I think the Texas Tech game and the Oklahoma State game should have been wins. I think Texas should have had a 10-2 season this year. At worst, they should have been 10-2.
But that's the whole
thing. They left a lot of meat in the bone.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You left.
I know.
It was some of those same problems that you guys have had that crept up on you.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say that it was. Look, the second half, you felt really good about the first half in a lot of games this year, but you still felt like that was the elephant in the room.
What was the second half adjustments?
Yeah,
which is crazy because in the bowl game they adjusted in the second half, which was crazy. The offense adjusted; they were schemed open right. They just didn't execute, And I hate to say that and put it on the players, but when you got a player dropping the touchdown pass, 60-yard bump, that's a schemed up play, right? It just is what it is.
I'm gonna say this right here: if y'all don't leave Worthy alone, y'all gonna miss alone. Let me say it again. That Brian, you see what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me put a little salt there. If y'all don't leave Worthy alone, y'all gonna miss him when he gone. You know what I'm saying? For real. Okay.
I
Okay.
think everybody wants to have that talent on the field. Um, it's just a matter of cleaning up the mistakes.
Y'all,
And
y'all gonna keep poking the bear because I'm trying to tell
anybody
you,
poke the bear, it
there's a second
it happened.
recruiting cycle, and there's a
No,
second
look,
transfer portal,
Chris,
and the black market is open, baby. I'm just
Chris.
letting you know, this
I'm
back
just
channels
I'm
is
just
open.
speaking on the facts that happened. Right? Speaking on the facts that happened. This
I've
is
heard
what
a
it
lot
is.
of worthy bashers, and I'm gonna tell you now, I keep the receipts. I've been looking at it.
Hold
It's a
on.
lot
Am
of
I
people, a
bashing
lot of
worthy?
Texas fans that want to get rid of Worthy and Ewers right
Chris,
now. So I'll let
Chris,
you know that.
Chris, me saying that's not bashing worthy. That's just stating the obvious.
Stop
That's
the
just
hate.
huh?
Stop the hate, man.
I'm
Stop the
not hating.
hate.
I'm just saying the execution wasn't there. The adjustments were right in the second half. And I think next year, if Texas doesn't go 10-2 next year or better, uh, with the improved offensive line, I think we're going to be better at the skill position. Minus Bijan, I give you Bijan. He's generational. But as far as wide receivers and the tight ends, this is Sanders' first full season of actually getting playing time at tight end. I think he's going to be a much better player next year as well. Prior to him going to the league. And say it you won't. You can laugh all you want. You can laugh all you want. But we got to get more talent there at the wide receiver position, and I think Texas is going to do it this year. And Quinn coming back and playing the way he should play. 10-2 or better.
10-2 gets y'all to the Big 12 championship game, and that's something that y'all are allergic to. So I don't know. I don't know. It's been so long. What, 2010, 29, 2009? I mean,
No, we played y'all in the Big 12 championship game when Sam was there.
Oh, that is true. Y'all did make the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, when we
How
played
they go for you?
when we
How they
played
go for
Georgia.
you?
I
How
don't
they go
know.
for you?
Yeah, whatever. It's hard to beat a team twice.
No, man, look, I am definitely not gonna go 10-2. But I will definitely say that I can see 9-3 in the future. But it's just all about how this how is the Big 12 talk to me when the Big 12 releases the when they release the schedules, and then also talk to me when the Big 12 decides to not screw OU and Texas down the stretch.
Now there's one thing we can't agree about. There's one thing we can agree about. The Big 12 screwed both teams this year. We got no calls this year. Neither one of our teams got calls this year. I saw a stat. Was it 3 holding calls on the opposing teams for the entire season for Texas, or 2 for us and 3 for you guys, something like that? It's just, come on now, really, like no team holds us. No team holds OU, so, the Big 12 sending the message. But one thing before we get out of here, Chris, when do you think we're going to the SEC?
I think we're going as soon as next year is over with. I think we're going in 2024.
I think 2024 is it also. But something has me thinking that the Big 12 might just want to get us out of there as soon as possible, meaning at the end of this year.
With the new media rights deal, you would think that the Big 12 you would think that the Big 12 would have did something like that. Hey, we already got all this money. Let's get you out with discounting at least 20 mil or so, whatever. That should get y'all out.
Yeah, we just gotta see if your broke ass school can pay y'all dues to get out. You know what I'm
saying? If we broke, I don't know what that makes y'all, because y'all hood rich. Y'all got hood rich. Y'all ain't rich like that.
That man said we hood rich.
MWs ain't stacking up like that. But people, Q keeps saying, what did Q say? Please speak your mind about JT. Hey, JT. You're a non-factor. That's what I have to say, buddy. Okay, I'm just gonna be real. Hold up, take a picture of that.
We're not gonna take a picture. I'm gonna pull something up for you guys.
I forgot. Hold on, real quick, because I want y'all to keep this. I forgot the A. Excuse me. Like I said, hey JT, you're a non-factor. Okay. Can you see that? You see it, Nick?
No, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna share my screen here, and we're gonna talk about just how much of a non-factor, JT Sanders was against that vaunted OU defense, right?
Trust me, if we would have actually had our real game plan, it would have been nice.
Oh no, hey, man, hey, Chris,
it wasn't that big of a deal.
Chris, if ifs were fists, we'd all be drunk. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the same
So
thing I can
you
say.
told me earlier, these ifs, but let's pull up these stats about JT Sanders. If you guys can see my screen here, you go to NinosCornerSports.com. I got all my stats here, NCN numbers. JT Sanders, I think, posted his third highest NCN score, 74.8. That means he's a very efficient and effective player, averages about 50. 5 receptions on 7 targets, 71 yards, 4 first downs on those 5 catches. Also 2 touchdowns for a non-factor. So 40% touchdown to reception rate, and 1 explosive play, meaning they catch over 20 yards, Chris. JT Sanders having 4 successful receiving plays on 5 catches, 2 touchdowns, 1 explosive play. Yeah, he was a non-factor against OU. Those 2 touchdowns,
I'm just
Chris,
letting you
his
know.
2 touchdowns were 14 points more than what your whole entire team scored last year.
And that's
In
fine.
in the
And
game.
that's fine for obvious reasons. And we'll talk about that next Wednesday. Okay. Next Wednesday on the Horns Down podcast. We'll talk about that next Wednesday. Because I got some. I trust me, it's gonna be a different room over there. I'm gonna have some OU people in there. They're gonna let y'all know exactly
They can
how
talk it.
we think about JT Sanders,
Okay,
because we gonna have a good time.
All I know, Big 12, first team all Big 12. Yeah, he's that guy. He's that guy. But on that note, folks, it's been an hour in. Chris, man, appreciate you coming in. We're gonna meet next week on the Horns Down podcast. I can't believe I just said Horns Down.
Hey, it was a good pod today, bro. It was a
It
good.
always is. It always is. We always have some some good talk. But like my boy Q said, man, I just cooked this fool when it comes to JT, man. Hey, man, put some respect on JT name, bro. Put some respect on JT name. Extra
Look,
crispy,
JT
cooked,
Sanders and
extra crispy.
Andre Coburn are the same person to me.
Oh
Basically,
my God! All right, all right, all right. We shall see, my friend. But folks, appreciate it. Go follow Chris's podcast, man. The Hornstown podcast on YouTube, also on Anchor, Spotify, anywhere you go follow it. So good listens, on his Twitter as well, Chris with a K, folks. So Chris with a K. Yes, it's K and then Chris after, folks. So don't be spelling it all wrong. But yeah, man, thanks for coming through, bro.
hey man, I appreciate y'all, man. Hey, all the love to all y'all Texas fans. You know what it is. Horns down always. But shout out to Nick. Hey, look, like, subscribe, do all the things. Get this video up. Let's go.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Hook 'em.